Welcome to the channel. My name is Eric. This is Manila Philippines. Today we're going to take a look at a popular nightclub, one I've actually never featured before. I know, it's crazy. Nightclub I haven't been to in Manila. And we're going to peel back the curtain on some day-to-day sort of personal issues, and I'm going to get into how I did it. You'll see what I mean. The upstairs space at the Bolt Hole Bar is kind of like a nightclub vibe, but it's definitely more like a packed party bar. You can walk in and just hang in the club if you want to pay a cover charge, but you can also get a standing table or a reservation for a couch table like this one. This little club has what I call a Pinoy vibe, which means it's really popular with the Gen Z locals, and that's a good thing, because you don't find a lot of foreigners in here. And the thing is when a club gets oversaturated with foreigners, that's when the freelancers come out. We'll talk about freelancers in a minute. On the weekends, there is almost always a really long line outside this place of people waiting to get in. And just like every other spot in the Poblacion Makati area, all the little bars and clubs, they will offer bottle service. Everyone was friendly. I met a couple of new people, saw a couple of old friends. It was a good time at Bolt Hole.
Hit Bolt Hole tonight, private table, VIP, crazy ass bomb nightclub. Don't skip Bolt Hole. Oh my God. Somehow I'm in a private van. Like we're splitting from Bolt Hole. I'm with my bros, my UK bro, and my UK bro's like, get in the van. We're going to the next spot. I'm like, really? Like, you got a private van? Thank you. And apparently, private van is the way to go, and we're on to the next bar. I think it's Royal.
That's a
block
ahead.
Block? 2 blocks. I mean, we could walk that, but when you got a private van, I mean, you gotta walk. It's Manila, baby!
Club Royal, one of the best spots to hit on a weekend night in Poblacion. It was a slow week for me, so I did manage to find the time to catch up with one of my channel member bros, and it was definitely worth it. It's been so busy that when the guys come into town, I always try to show them around, but recently I've had to have the girls take them out. I'm like, look man, I just can't make it, but I will send someone who will show you just as good a time. They'll show you all around the town, and they'll probably introduce you to 10 times more people than I would. Please do consider checking out joining this channel as a member. There are a lot of perks to channel membership, not just the extra content, not just the opportunity to connect, which has been a lot of fun, but you're literally getting the inside track into what is going down in Manila nightlife. It's no joke. Just check out my bro here. Channel member from the UK, solid guy. He hooked the whole night up. Thanks so much, bro. We had a fucking throwdown awesome time. I take guys out that want to high roll it. I take guys out that want to slum it, and everything in between. You know, we're talking nice dinners. We're talking cheap hole-in-the-wall dinners. We're talking high-end clubs. We're talking dive bars. Whatever you want, Manila's got it. There are no bar girls, bar drinks, or bar fines in a club like this. However, depending on the night, you may find more than a handful of freelancers. So my buddy asked me, how can you tell which girls are freelancers and which girls are just there to party? The first thing I look at is what's on their table. Do they have a bottle on the table? Do they have a bunch of cocktails on the table? Drinks aren't necessarily cheap in this spot, and freelancers are going to be the ones nursing the beers. If the girl's got a bottle on the table, if they got food on the table, if they got a bunch of fancy cocktails, and you can see that they're partying, dancing, grooving, laughing, high-fiving, then they are just regular girls there looking to have a fun time. Usually freelancers are solo or with just one of their friends. So when you see 1 or 2 girls sitting at a table paying attention to their phone, not really laughing, not really partying, nursing beers, chances are they're freelancers. It's the girls that are obviously in there having a good time with their friends, drinking on their own dime, that are the kind of girls that you're going to meet and have a really nice interaction with. Oh my goodness, good morning, Philippines. I try to get up early every day. I make an exception for that on the weekends, because I usually don't get home until like after the sun comes up. It's not a bad, it's been, for rainy season it's not been bad, don't mind me. A little less articulate first thing in the morning. I'm not a morning person. Alright, so this little, it's a crappy house I rent here by our guy with my green screen. It's not too glamorous. And my lighting kits and this little desk where I kind of do my work during the day. Alright, not that you care about any of that. What I'm here to tell you about is, as soon as I get up, literally as soon as I get up, it's push-up time. I want to do as much of my calisthenic routine as possible within moments of getting up. So I go downstairs, get myself a big glass of water. I'll do my liver detox, which is about an ounce of extra virgin olive oil, an ounce of lemon juice, and a pinch or two of cayenne pepper. And then I do the calisthenic set, and then I'll eat. So let's get started with that. A little bit of get the juices moving, a little warm up action, you know, spine swinging, the shoulders warmed up, that range of motion going. You gotta get moving first thing in the morning. That's what's important. Do some body weight squats, some sumo squats, some front snap kicks, and then do some roundhouse exercises. Yeah, right. Because let me tell you, if you don't use it, you lose it. Alright, so the hardest part for me is actually just diamond push-ups. They were really hard for me at first. You can see, you put your hands in a little diamond pattern on the floor, right? And then you want to force yourself to like really just fast and hard, like. I like to bang these out hard and fast. I look for a full extension. Now some philosophies will say, no, take it slower. Get really solid reps every single time, perfect form. But I'm going for numbers here. I want to burn out on every set. Don't worry about how many reps you can get in each set. What you got to focus on is taking it to absolute muscle fatigue every time. You want to burn out to the point where you can't even drop and do one more. All right, that was 40. 40 diamond push-ups. That seems to be my limit for now. Took me a while to get up to like 50 regular push-ups. But now, they're not so hard. Diamond push-ups still take a lot out of me. So I'll rest for a little bit, and then I'll go into triceps push-ups. Alright, this is going to be totally impromptu, totally not scripted, although I'll probably get to some scripted elements at some point in this series, if it's considered a series. And it basically has to do with some comments that I've been getting. I've been getting a lot of them lately, which basically say, you know, look at this dude, me, who moved to the Philippines, and I was fat, and I was old, and I was a mess, basically. And I came to the Philippines, and after 10 years of living here, drinking and partying and doing all the craziness, I'm like 10 years younger. How do you go there, abuse the shit out of yourself, and rejuvenate yourself 10 years or more? How did you lose 60 pounds? Yeah, a lot has changed here in the Philippines. It is all possible. And I'm not some, you know, under 30 health guru, like, ripped it to the bone, being like, this is how you shred, you know, like, try doing it over 50. Try doing it over 50. If you can keep it going, and you were like not one of these genetically gifted Adonis looking dudes, or an ectomorphic type that never had to worry about fat, you're a guy like me,
I was fat as fuck. I don't know how else to say it. I'll show you some clips from my old videos. I can't believe it. I literally look at myself and I'm like, ugh. And I actually thought I didn't look bad. But you look at me then, you look at me now, it's night and day. So, I hope this will be educational, inspirational, informational, helpful, interesting at least, maybe even entertaining. I don't know. All that. Let's go. Remember, it's not scripted. No makeup. You might be asking yourself, why? Why am I doing this like immediately upon waking up? And we'll get into that. It has a lot to do with the whole dietary, exercise, health, longevity process, because I give you a lot of advice, a lot of different types of advice on health, vitamins, supplements, minerals, diet, whole foods, processed foods, everything, you know. And all that advice is out there. What's really not out there, what's becoming new or emerging in the space is what they call mind-gut symbiosis, right? So you're saying your stomach and your gut is connected to your mind in a way that hasn't really been discussed or talked about a lot in, I don't know, health issues, health care, health development, rejuvenation, longevity. So in reading about this and researching about this, a lot of it has to do with hormones. What happens with your intermittent fasting and why you would intermittent fast and what happens to the body when you put it under stress. So we'll talk about that in detail, but in a nutshell, that is why I wake up, I don't eat, and I subject myself to extreme physical stress. In this case, 200 push-ups. And then the body weight squats, and then the front snap kicks, and all the good stuff. And the reason why I do the kicks is mostly just to keep myself conditioned for what was, you know, decade of competitional karate. So I don't compete, but at least not now. But you want to be ready to compete. That's the thing that people like, you know, they're like, oh yeah, I got my black belt 10 years ago, and then I haven't like kicked anything since then. But like I said before, you use it or you lose it. It's that simple. And it boils down to just about everything in your life, including like Microsoft Excel. Like I was in Excel the other day and I was trying to nest some formulas. I'm like, wait, how the hell did I used to do this? And like, yeah, use it or lose it. Alright, the ones that I call triceps push-ups, okay? These are like close into the arm, right? Goes back. And then you just want to put all the stress on the tricep. Get a full extension on the way up. See if I can do 50.
The term hope molecules refers to myokines, or the proteins that are produced by your muscles during any sort of contraction. Walking, running, lifting weights, spending 10 minutes opening a jar of marinara sauce. Unlike ordinary proteins, these myokines are tasked with a unique quest. They travel through the bloodstream and eventually cross the blood-brain barrier.
Down to the knees.
Consider them your in-house guardians of mental and physical well-being.
I tapped out at 40 again. Could be a couple of reasons for that. Didn't rest enough in between sets. I haven't been taking my creatine consistently. Creatine doesn't really like build the muscle, but it does make you stronger. Talk a bit about linear aging, or the concept of linear aging versus the concept of virtual aging. I know it sounds nuts, but think about it, you know. The world would have you believe that you're on a rock spinning through space at like 8,000 miles an hour, that's spinning around a ball of fire, that's spinning around a galaxy at like 500,000 miles an hour. And the concept of aging is every time I go around the ball of fire on this rock, in other words, every revolution you make around the sun, you're 1 year older. Well, I don't buy into that at all. I just say, oh, well, you know, I've gone around the sun this many times. Does not have any bearing on how old I am. It just has bearing on the length of time as we measure it that we have spent on what we call this rock, the Earth. That is considering you're not a flat Earth guy, because after all, if the government tells you the Earth is round, well, that's a whole lot of evidence which kind of leads towards the Earth is flat. But we're not going to talk about that here today. You know, I'm an astrophysicist kind of guy, so feel free to leave a comment. Anyway, yeah, aging, linear aging versus virtual aging. We'll get into that in this series. All right, the spread arm push-ups, they're a little tougher, especially after doing 2 sets of 40. So you just want to have them bent out a little bit like this. I can already feel a little discomfort. So when I feel the discomfort like that, just bring them in a little more. Try not to flare the elbows.
Remember, it's not about how many reps you can get in the set. It's about taking the set to absolute muscle fatigue.
All right, so I am strained. I'm having trouble kicking out 3 sets of 40 push-ups. So what that means is I'm gonna move over to body weight squats, and then I'll come back to the push-ups later. You don't have to knock them all out at once. You just got to get your body into that, I'm going to call it a stress zone. There's some hormones get released, and the mind, body, gut thing sort of happens. And yeah, just got to get things rolling in a little bit of a stress zone before you eat. So I am doing this in what's arguably a fasted state, and fasting has become a lot easier since I gave up the sugar and the carbs and basically went keto. So we'll talk about all that.